IT in higher education. Followed by that will be Dr. Mushtak Al-Atabi, who's going to present his experiences in designing and teaching MOOCs that engages students from around the world in facing the global grand challenges. I'm Dr. Christina White. I'm a member of the IFEES Executive Committee, and I'll be facilitating the session and the audience discussion. We highly encourage you as our audience to join in the discussion by using our Zoom technology to pose questions and ideas throughout the session. I'm going to first please welcome Dr. Michael Auer, our IFEES President.
Dear webinar participants, my dear colleagues and friends of IFEES, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are a global community today, and I have the pleasure to welcome you all to our first IFEES webinar. The webinar series we start today is part of our international initiative for developing of engineering academics, in short IDEA. Christina already mentioned this. We are currently witnessing a significant transformation in education, and especially engineering education. There are two essential and challenging elements of this transformation process that have to be tackled in education. This is the impact of globalization on all areas of human life and the exponential acceleration of the developments in technology as well as of the global markets and the necessity of flexibility and agility. Both of these points are terrific challenges for us as educators and engineering educators. I see our society, IFEES society, together with the Global Engineering Deans Council and the Student Platform for Engineering Education Development, our members and our partners from the industry as a great community that may play a really active role in this transformation process. From now on, we have planned on one webinar per month to give participants an input in regard to the newest developments and trends in engineering education. My special thanks goes to the two speakers who will open our series today, who are Uriel Cukierman, the immediate past president of IFEES and a very good friend of mine, and Mushtak Al-Atabi from Heriot Watt University in Malaysia, who is an excellent specialist in the field we will discuss today. I wish you all and all of us an exciting webinar. So I give the floor back to Christina, or the first speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Auer, for welcoming us, and thank you to each of the participants and panelists for joining us today. We are really looking forward to an exciting webinar series. I'd like to welcome Dr. Uriel Cukierman, who is our immediate past president of IFEES, the director of the Center for Educational Research and Innovation at UTN in Argentina. He's going to be speaking with us today about leveraging IT in higher education. As I mentioned previously to our participants, I highly encourage you to use our Zoom technology with the question and answer session. If you have questions throughout these exciting presentations, please feel free to post them, and we will make sure that our speakers have time to respond to them. Without further ado, I welcome Dr. Cukierman.
Okay, thank you, Christina, for your introduction. Thank you, Michael, and hello, everybody. I will now show, I will at least try to show my screen. Wait a minute. Let's see if this works okay. Well, I hope you are now able to see my screen. Can you confirm, please?
Yes, we're able to.
Okay, thank you so much, Christina. So, well, I will now begin with my presentation. The agenda for this presentation is I will begin with a short story. Then, based on that story, I will try to explain where we come from and where we are going, and the role of new technologies in higher education. We will speak a little bit about tools versus methodologies, and some challenges, trends, and developments in technology for education. And we will finish with some conclusion and references for you. So let's begin with the story I promised to you. This is the story of a man who slept 100 years. And as you can see, this is that man that fell asleep 100 years ago. And when he awoke, he was a citizen, a New York citizen. So this was the city he remembered, but suddenly he discovered a completely new place in that city. Then he began to walk through the city, and he perfectly remember a new device that was developed at that time, and that looks like this one. But suddenly he found that device turned into this big screen and completely different image. So he was very surprised, and then he decided to phone his home, and he began to look for something like this. But when he asked for a phone, someone gave to him something like this, completely different. And so he asked, how can I do a phone call with this strange device? So then he decided to go to the factory where he used to work, and he was expecting to see something like this, but suddenly he discovered that there were no workers there. There were some robots doing the job that he used to do 100 years ago. Well, his surprise was really very great, and finally he decided to go to the university, and what he found there is that nothing changed. And this is completely true. This might be a funny story, but it's a reality. We still have the same kind of classroom, the same kind of environment. All the students sitting in front of the blackboard, and the professor speaking in the front of the classroom. Well, you all know what I'm speaking about. So based on this story, uh, I want to explain a little bit why are we in this situation right now. This situation or this kind of environment comes from the times of the first industrial revolution, and the classroom actually resemble the factory model for education. And that model was training a large number of people in the shortest possible time, with a set of relatively standardized knowledge, and in a measurable and efficient education system which can provide a workforce for that mass economy production. But this is not the economy we have anymore. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution. And I want to explain very briefly how we arrived to this point. First, during the first industrial revolution, we have the steam power replacing human and animal power with machines. Then the second industrial revolution with electricity and internal combustion engines and radio and mass production. And then we have the third industrial revolution, which is in the period in which we currently are, with electronics, internet and information technology, automation of mass production, etc. But we are entering now the fourth industrial revolution, which means driverless cars, smart robotics, 3D printing, Internet of Things, and cyber physical systems. So this is completely different to the kind of society we had 100 years ago. So which is the role of new technologies in higher education, at least from this point of view? New technologies are important enablers for innovative practice in higher education. At least this is I think so. I think this is completely true, because new technologies support a major shift from an institutional to a student-centered vision. We come from a culture of professor-centered education, and we need to move to a student-centered learning, which might be perfectly enabled by properly using new technologies. New technologies stimulate the development of partnership between higher education institutions and other organizations, like the places where, like the enterprises, like the places, the industry, places where our graduates will work. Also, new technologies impact on two key aspects of the innovation process in general, not only in education, but in general. One is doing existing things better, and second, doing new things. This is the two key aspects of the innovation process in general. And going further with this analysis, I want to say that when we speak about technology, and particularly when we speak about new technologies, new is a relative term. Something might be new for some other people, but not so new for us. Our students don't think in terms of technology, they think in terms of the activity technology enables. And when we ask them about technology, the way in which they think about new technology is completely different from the way we professors think about it. For us, a phone is new technology, a new smartphone is new technology, but for them, probably a new application for that smartphone is really new technology, because that new application is the one that allow him to do new things, to do things better. So the activity enable is more important than the technology behind it, and we need to be very conscious about this reality. So the conclusion of this analysis is that the how is more important than the what. The tool, I mean the methodology, what we do is more important than the technology itself. The tool versus methodologies, the what versus the how. Technology, in that sense, technology may be useful, but more technology does not necessarily means better education. This is completely true, and we have proved this through all recent years. Technology should focus in learning outcomes, and its use should be carefully planned. We need to plan the use of technology. It's not just that by introducing technology we will solve problems. Sometimes we will add some problems if we don't plan carefully how to use this technology. or we can add some problems, or we can have poor results if we don't plan carefully how to use the technology. So again, there is no substitute for a good professor, because the good professor is the one that will plan, that will decide how to use that technology, trying to have better results, to have good learning outcomes, and how to properly apply that technology. Well, I want to continue my presentation here by showing you some challenges, trends, and developments in learning technologies and in new methodologies for learning. And I will base this part of my presentation on a report developed by the New Media Consortium. I will share with you also, you can see here, excuse me, you can see here the, oh, sorry for my line, it's not so straight. Here you can see this is the place where you can find this report. I encourage you to look for this report, because it is it's really interesting. And in that report, there are these challenges, trends, and developments. And beginning with the trends, in the short term, this report shows that in the next 1 or 2 years, the key trends will be blended learning designs and collaborative learnings. I guess you all know what blended learning means and what collaborative learning means. So I will go through this, and the other key trends for the midterms, I mean for the next 3 or 5 years, is growing focus on measuring learning and redesigning learning spaces. And I will go a little bit deeper into these aspects. Growing focus on measuring learning is related with the new kind of competencies that we need to develop in our students, that our students need to develop, to say correctly, and we will need to find proper ways to measure that kind of those kind of learnings, because usually we used to measure only knowledge, but when we try to measure competencies, this will present to us different kind of challenges. And redesigning learning space to allow students to work collaboratively, to have flexible learning spaces where tables and seats can be moved, where we can have different kinds of environments to allow participation, to allow collaboration. And in the long term, that means for 5 or more years, the key trend is advancing cultures of innovation and deeper learning approaches. Again, I think I don't need to go deeper with this. I guess you know what I am speaking about. But anyway, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can go to this report and you will find useful information to understand it better. Now let's move to the significant challenges impeding higher education technology adoptions. And in first place, the solvable challenges, which are improving digital literacy, and this is very important. But nowadays, most of our students come with sufficient digital literacy, and in those cases that they don't have this kind of literacy, we can solve it really easy. And also integrating formal and informal learning, because nowadays our students learn not only in the classroom, but also in a lot of other places. And we have to recognize this kind of informal learning. Then the difficult challenges, which are described by this report as the achievement gap and the advancing digital equity. And this is both of these are closely related with differences in composition of our societies, because we have students coming from different groups, different economic and society groups, students that don't have the same ability to use new technology and also to access new technology. And finally, in this list, the managing knowledge obsolescence and rethinking the roles of educators. The first one is how we will deal with the technology that will become obsolete in a short time. And second time, how can we train the educators, how can we train the teachers to be able to play new roles that society needs. And following in this list, the important developments in technology for higher education. And again, according to this report, in 1 year or less, the technologies that will be important developments are adaptive learning technologies and mobile learning. I'm afraid I won't have enough time to describe each of these technologies, but I guess that some of you have some idea about what I'm speaking about. And in 2 to 3 years, the Internet of Things and the next generation of learning management systems. And finally, in the 4 to 5 years, artificial intelligence and natural user interfaces. But I don't want to finish this presentation without sharing with you what I think is, or are, sorry, the 3 more important principles about teaching. And these principles are, first, pragmatism trumps ideology in teaching, which means that the only thing that is useful for a professor, for a teacher, is the one that he has already tested and he has realized that it is useful for him. The second principle is that teaching methods are not determined by technology. I think it's the other way around. And finally, no single method is likely to meet all the requirements teachers face. So this is the conclusion of my presentation. I will be open to questions when the organizers will allow the questions to arrive. And I will leave with you some references. I will share through the IFEES Secretary this presentation with you, and you will find that this presentation will have all the links to all these documents that will probably and surely help you in going deeper into this subject. So from this side, I want to thank you very much, and I will be more than glad to answer your question when the time will come. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Uriel. What a fantastic presentation, certainly filled with lots of good insights and really reminding us that the how is more important than the what, and that we've got to continue to really think about the most productive ways to use technology in effective teaching. To our participants, I'd like to remind you that within this Zoom technology, we are able to have you posing questions that you can ask to our current presenter or to any of the panelists. So we encourage you to please do that so that we can make this webinar series very interactive, and we'd love to hear your great ideas. So Uriel will be available to answer those throughout the presentation, as will Mushtak and Michael. And thank you, Uriel, also for hosting so many of the references within your presentation. And as you mentioned, that will be housed on the IFEES website. So for those of you participants that are interested in those fantastic references and the PowerPoint, you'll be able to see that later. Without questions currently, I would like to welcome Dr. Mushtak Al-Atabi, who's currently the Senior Deputy Provost at Heriot-Watt University in Malaysia. Dr. Al-Atabi is going to speak to us about the human revolution, what I learned from my MOOCs. Welcome, Mushtak. We'll go ahead and turn the presentation over to you, Mushtak, and you'll be able to share your screen.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, we are able to, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome to our listeners and participants from all over the world. Today I'll talk about my experience with MOOCs, and it's so beautiful that it just so happened that my presentation flows very well from Uriel's presentation. So, okay, let me try to, okay. So I'll talk about the nature of human jobs now and in the future. I'll talk about emotional intelligence because specifically today I would like to share about my experience teaching emotional intelligence through MOOCs. I'll talk about the framework that was used, and since this is a presentation about technology and to please Christina, because she was very worried that I won't include the technology elements in my presentation, I'll talk about the nuts and bolts, the success factors for an online course, and also what items that maybe other people think they are very important, but I found them to be less important. And I will again share some of the outcomes and the results of my students. So if we take this story of the man who slept for 100 years and we extend it and we think of a man who slept maybe for 3,000 years, and that person, or every one of us in actual fact, we bring to this life three main elements. We have our physical component, our muscles, our capabilities. We have our cognitive components, where our capability to think and solve challenges and memorize things. And there's also the emotional components, or the emotional intelligence component, which is the part that makes us feel for others, work with them well, and care for them and things like that. Now, for the largest part of our history, our physical component, our strength, our muscle was an extremely important thing. It meant the difference between being alive and being dead because of the nature of the jobs that we did. You know, we hunted, we chased animals to catch them and things like that. But when we invented the wheel and agriculture started and the agricultural revolution started, something interesting started to happen. The importance of the physical component, how strong we were, started to decrease, become less, and our ability to think and resolve challenges became more. So if I take a cross section, I would like to speculate that this is as a percentage of what a person brings to the job that was available between maybe the invention of the wheel to the time where the machine that we made for the first time was stronger. It beat John Henry, who allegedly was a very strong steel worker, and he was faster and quicker and stronger than the machine. But the machine kept on being stronger and faster until it became better than the human in doing the physical work. Now, that trend continued to be there. So we had the digital revolution. We started to make computers, and these computers slowly became faster, not to say faster than us, and they became smarter until in 1997, Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov. And since then, the world champion in chess has never been a human being. So we made machines that somehow are smarter, faster in certain aspects of thinking than ourselves. So you could see that how strong you are becoming less and less important in the types of the jobs that we are able to do. And I think universities has continued to respond to this. So the cognitive component is very, very important to the kind of job, the kind of pay that we can get, and hence the academic institutions evolved to provide that component and to focus on it with very little focus on the emotional component, because we assume that this is something that can be done, you know, in life, in your family, and so on and so forth. Now, the machines, interestingly, became so smart that they are now actually threatening to take most of our jobs. So there are reports that say probably in 10 years or so, probably 46% of the jobs that we have today will be automated. And interestingly, the Industrial Revolution, when it took many of the human jobs, it replaced them with as many or even more human jobs. But this trend is not necessarily something that's going to repeat ourselves. As a matter of fact, there are a number of futurists and thinkers in this field who think that this trend may not hold. Now, our technology is doing something else to us. It's making us somehow less connected with each other. So people are, you know, they sit with their family, but everyone is on their devices. You know, children are so hooked to computer games and to connected to the device. So the percentage of the emotional component, and there is some research to support that, seems to be becoming less. So now we are having two trends. Machines are definitely much stronger than us. They are threatening to be smarter than us in the cognitive field. The only element that machines has not done any real progress at is the emotional element. And we are at the universities, we still prepare people to mainly on the cognitive dimension. So I think now we are at a very important moment. What should we do? Now, this is the part that is top speculative. I would like to think that future human jobs will have a larger emotional component than any time in our history. And the reason is because anything that is not requires a high emotional intelligence and creativity and so on element, a machine could do. So I think that we as academic institutions, we ought to start developing emotional intelligence and emotional components into our graduates. So this is what I would like to start with. Now, I just wanted to show you some data. I believe that developing holistic graduates requires equipping them with emotional skills. There are some studies that show that American college students showed a 48% decrease in empathic concern and a 34% drop in their ability to see other people's perspective. And the question that I ask, can technology and massive open online courses specifically provide the answer? And I will start speaking about my course. So in 2013, I offered the first massive open online course in Malaysia, and I offered it to engineering students. So, and the course was about emotional intelligence. It's about equipping engineers with emotional component. And I made the course open to everyone else in the world. I utilized the emotional intelligence framework developed by Daniel Goleman, and you could see it on the screen. So it's very neat that an engineer could work with. It has 2 columns, self and the other column is social or relational, and 2 rows. The first one is awareness, and the second one is regulation. So Daniel Goleman claims that to be emotionally intelligent, we need to be self-aware, we need to be able to manage ourselves, we need to be socially aware and able to express empathy with others, and ultimately we need to be able to manage relationships with others. And you could see under each one of these 4 constructs there is a number of sub-elements. So the course that I developed was based on building each and every one of these 18 elements of the emotional intelligence. The course is still available, interestingly, online, and until today, for 4 years or so after it started, it has daily enrollment. So I think this is I found it really to be amazing. So I'll talk a little bit about the course. I offered it on Open Learning, which is a free online MOOC platform. Any one of you could do it. The course had 6,000 students from more than maybe 150 different countries. And the course is based on lectures and talks. So I give lectures, and I also invited people to give talks. And it's almost it's a real lecture that I give to my students, and it's recorded and then put online. There are also online quizzes to ensure that the students have taken and listened to the lecture and learned what we were teaching. We did a bit of gamification in the course. So, for example, I banned the use of the P word, which is the word problem, in the course. And the theory behind this is by changing our language, we would be able to change our thoughts, and we can change our emotions. So every time someone utters the P word, there will be some sort of punishment. There are also online activities the students have to do on a daily basis. Brain rewiring is one of them, and brain rewiring is a gratitude exercise, is about sharing the 5 things that you are grateful for on a daily basis. And this is about creating some positive and positive habits. Students need to mention their emotions. They need to verbalize their emotions and how they feel mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, vocationally, and physically each and every day. Now, if you try to do this, both the brain rewiring and my emotions today, you'll find it to be actually rather challenging. Although we know that we have lots of great things, but our brain is wired to detect the negative rather than the 5 things that we are grateful for. And also, the part of the brain where emotions are processed is incapable of language. That's why it's very difficult for us to actually, put words to our emotions. And that's why maybe if someone asks you, how do you feel? You'll find it difficult to describe how you feel, and maybe you'll just say, okay, or I'm fine. The other thing that we did was putting the students in pairs and assigning them to be mission partner for each other. So every student at the beginning of the course would set a mission, something that he or she would like to achieve. It could be a project that they want to work on. It could be a course they want to do well with. It could be a relationship they want to fix, and it could be even someone wants to lose weight or improve his or her health. And the mission partner's role is to, using the online and other tools, to send the partner encouraging notes and telling him or her that he or she believes in him or her. And the idea is, when we show interest in developing another human being, something good happens, not only to the other human being, but also to us. And there is a series of activities like that. Now, why these, I believe that these activities worked better in a massive course than in a small sort of student to staff ratio, is because I believe when many people do these exercises together, then you will see what other people from other parts of the world are, you know, grateful for, or what emotions that they are having. And then that gives you the permission to, you know, share your emotions and be able to think of the good things that are going on in your life. Now, the course gives e-certificates, and this seems to be a very powerful tool to attract students to complete the course, to join and eventually complete. I also noticed that giving students electronic badges, you know, when they do something good, or when even automated badges, like when you have 20 likes, you receive a badge. It's called, I called it the badge of hearts. And it's so amazing that people send me messages to say that this badge that they received today was the best thing that happened to them in the past 3 months, or that badge has made their day, and things like that. To the level, I started to feel so, you know, happy to offer to issue people badges when they do something good. And I wanted to empower the community, so I created a page. I called it Badge Nomination, where other people could actually nominate their colleagues to get badges. So this is how roughly the course was run. Now, what makes a course successful? I think the first thing should be the purpose and passion of the educator. You know, every time I speak about my courses, and people come to me and say, we have 6,000 students from so many different countries. And literally, when I first offered the course, I actually slept very little, because by the time a time zone sleeps, another time zone wakes up, and they start commenting, and I can't but actually go and try to engage with them. So that's why people say, so, oh, that requires a lot of time. I say, definitely. So sometimes people think that, you know, MOOCs is a way to automate education. I actually disagree with that. So you do it only if you have that purpose and passion and you believe in it. Now, management support of your university is extremely important, because, you know, you will need to film, you need to put things online, and they need to support you to agree to put that material, which ultimately is the ownership, is owned by the intellectual property of the university, to put it online. The most important thing that I found is using technology to empower the community. So we need not look at the students as here to be taught, and I am the center, and they are the learners. Each and every one of them is a potential resource. So imagine now on my courses, if you go and register and you say, hi, I'm new, I don't know where to go, I'm 100% sure within an hour or even less than that, some students will come to you and say, hi, hello, my name is so-and-so, and please, you can find the lectures here, you can find the assignments here, and so on and so forth. So the course is built on interaction. It encourages people to comment on each other's post, and every comment you will earn some points for, and when you accumulate a certain number of points, you are issued badges, and some of the students really are very excited about that. The activities like brain rewiring and my emotions today are made public, so every student could see it. The automated badges are very powerful, because you could create different tiers of badges, and you could make variety of them, and they could be issued based on the number of hours someone has spent. And you don't need even to tell the students how these badges are offered. Actually, the more mysterious, the more exciting they are. So you could offer them based on how many likes they have used, how many people have commented on their work, the length of time they spent on the course, and so on and so forth. The badge nomination that I spoke about is also a very important part, because it makes the community closer and more knit, and I literally have people, you know, in the United States and some in Africa who are mission partners who are working together on developing each other. The Awesomeness Club is a very interesting component. We created it based on the suggestion of one of the students, where we everyone you know, who has a winning because of the course, or something good happens in their life, they could actually share it on this page. And again, this makes people encouraged and feeling great about being part of this community, and they continue to come back to the course and contribute to it. The course needs to have a clear storyline. So for me, I always start with the 4 elements that Daniel Goleman has put for the emotional intelligence, because this emotional intelligence as a term could be, you know, defined by in different ways by different people. So we define it specifically, and that's research anchored. So the story is very clear. People know that they need self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management in order for them to be emotionally intelligent. Personalized level of difficulty, I think, is extremely important. So the course is self-paced. Students can take it at their own pace. They don't have to do things in a certain certain pace. So those some people could take, I don't know, 3-4 weeks to finish the course. Some could take 6 months. Some take it for a month and stop and come back. So it's very, very flexible. I think the course that we put had to be relevant, and I think I was lucky that emotional intelligence was something that's seen as relevant and important. So it created a lot of interest in the global community. The course provides a very interesting analytics. So this is the world map that I snapped from my course. It shows the number of students in each and every course. So you could see I have students from almost each and every country in the world. I think I just missed 2 in South America, and a few in Africa, and that's it. I took this picture again maybe 2 days ago on the 27th of May, and you see this course is started in 2013, but until today on 27th, I had 2 people registered. On 26th of May, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you could see that from different parts of the world. So I think this is to me is an amazing experience. Honestly, I even moved from the university where I offered this course, and I'm a different university, but the course and its community is still there. I can find statistics about how much time a student has spent watching the videos or doing different activities. I can tell on any day how many people there were online, how much time they spent on the course, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, the amount of data that I have is really huge. I don't even, you know, have the time to really look at it in details. So what I found less important, you know, some of the online courses, people use lots of graphics, and that makes the production, I think, very expensive. I found that to be not that important. There is a kind of belief that in order for the MOOC to succeed, you need very, very short videos. I found that to be not necessarily true, at least in my case. So I have actually very long lectures, and people do watch the lectures end to end. Expensive production with green background and so on. I think this is also not that important. I mean, a simple 2-camera production, reasonable, you know, with production is sufficient. the most important thing I found is the quality of the sound rather than anything else, because when the quality of the sound is not good, you know, people really start complaining. Now, completion rates of MOOCs is something that people are, you know, talking a lot about, and I think this is also not very important. I myself had joined a number of MOOCs. I had no intention of completing them. I just joined to see what's going on inside and learn. So I think it's because of how massive the course is, even out of the, you know, the 6,000, if you get, I don't know, 1,000 who complete the course and had their life changed by it, I think that's more than enough to me. So I think we need to rethink the metrics that we are utilizing. I just wanted to show you some of the success stories, or very interesting stories. The person to the left is Paul Koba. He's one of my students from Tanzania. And I went to the course in, I think it was in November 2013 or so, and I looked at what did he post on the course. He put this picture, and he said that he was able to get married to this lady because of the course. And the way he described it was, you know, he lacked confidence, and although he loved this lady, he was unable to speak to her, and it was only after he took the course he was able to actually confess his love and eventually get married. So you just imagine, you know, you are just giving an online course and someone gives you this story. It's really empowering and amazing. Robert is a CEO of a small technology company, and he talked about how did he use removing of the P word, if you remember, the word problem, in his company, and how this actually helped reframe the minds of his engineers. So again, someone I never thought will be joining my course and benefiting from it and writing his story on the Awesomeness Club for it to appear here when I talk to you. Sandro is from Italy, and when he started the course, he was working for a courier company, but he was miserable. His life was going nowhere, and in actual fact, he always wanted to be a tour guide to take people around in these beautiful places in Italy. And again, he say, because of the course and because of he was able to find his passion and was able to quit his job and start his own business, and he's now, you know, having a continuous flow of customers, and he is happy and successful. Now, this is one of the most interesting things that happened to me in this course. One day I was checking my course, and a student an online student came to me, and he was asking about a certain thing. And I asked her, where are you from? And she said that she's from California State University, and they were taking my course for credit. I was shocked. And eventually, if you could see here, it's me in the lower left side at 2 a.m. my house in Malaysia, giving a live lecture to the students in California State University. So they flipped the classroom, they watched my my classes, and they, you know, later they go to the classroom to do activities around it. So I think I'm about to finish. I just want to say, I think technology is really about empowering people, and I think that we need a human revolution. We had the industrial agriculture revolution, the scientific revolution, the industrial revolution, the digital revolution, and I think now it's the time that we re-look inside and we look at our emotions and how can we build emotionally intelligent graduates in general and emotionally intelligent engineers specifically. And I think that technology can actually be a great help. Now, if you want to know more about my stories, these are my two books, Think Like an Engineer and Shoot the Boss. And both of them have a lot of examples of how I used technology and how I did other things in my classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mushtak. What an incredible presentation and an interesting way for us to begin thinking about how we can better connect our students as well as our global citizens through the use of technology and wonderful courses such as your own. To the participants, I highly encourage you to look at Mushtak's MOOC. As he mentioned, it's still open for you to take the course, and it sounds like a wonderful way to connect to people from around the world. I can't thank our two presenters enough. It was quite an honor to have you in our inaugural webinar, and I hope that for the participants, you learned quite a bit about the ways that we can continue to think about teaching with technology and the best way to really develop our students and the content in which we are teaching. Up next in our June webinar, we will be focusing on global engagement and diversity, and we certainly hope that you'll join us for that discussion. We will have a survey that will come to you after our webinar is finished, and we hope that you provide us with insights and feedback. We'll go ahead and close it out now with our president. If you'd like to, Michael, give us a few words before we close the session.
Sorry, I forgot to switch on my audio. Now I hope everybody can hear me. From my point of view, I was really very satisfied with this start of our series here. And let me please summarize in 4 points my thinking. First of all, we had 2 outstanding presenters. And once again, my thanks goes to Uriel and Mushtak. I hope we can make the presentation slides visible and maybe also downloadable for the participants, for our audience. And maybe we are also in the next days or weeks in contact with both of them to exchange our ideas and suggestions, for example, and discuss some of their ideas. Second thing, my thank goes also to our audience. Please join us again. Please give us your feedback, give us your input, what you expect in future webinars, and spread the information about the webinar to your colleagues. Maybe you are also interested to be a presenter in one of our future webinars, and please tell us this too. Thirdly, my special thank goes to Christina, who made this webinar happen and has already planned for the whole year 2017. And I'm for myself are already keen to hear the next webinar in June. I think we will then have a summer break and start again in September. But I think Christina will explain this afterwards by herself. And last but not least, my thank goes to Kayla and Aldo for their organizational and technical preparation and processing of this webinar. I think everything ran smooth and was really successful. So once again, to all of you, thank you very much and hope to meet you in one of our next webinars again. Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to our June webinar. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.